I've been trying to figure out how to address all the stuff that's been going on, or even if I should, like, what's my place in all of this um, with the Black Lives Matter going on. And it's taken me a long time to talk about this. I trying to keep my what I say succinct because what I want to get to is the part that I think I'm in is in listening and understanding. My initial reaction was, as a creative and as an artist, I thought, what can I do? What kind of action can I take? I don't want to just pay lip service, or it's not, what action can I do? And it's also something I didn't want to be about just right now, but looking forward. And I got really great advice from one of my friends saying, right now isn't a time to act. It's a time to listen and understand, seek to understand. And I feel like that's what I've been doing for the last while, is actively listening. And what's been, I think, really positive for me is hearing firsthand accounts of people sharing their stories of racist situations, and this isn't their grandparents or their parents. This is like their firsthand accounts of being in this situation, and I've really enjoyed watching that. I don't watch media. I haven't watched any of that. It's been really about individuals sharing their story, and I'm always fascinated at how at people and how they make decisions and the effects that they have in their life. And I've really been trying to figure out, why is this so important to me? Um, I Many of you know, I 6 years ago transitioned out of religion, and I came across this. To me, it was opening, waking up to the fact that I had let dogma and a way of thinking keep me from what I felt to be right. And it was this psychological constraint that I had had on myself for 30 years, and the struggle that I had in wanting to right those wrongs. And that's where the whole learning to live life intentionally, everything has kind of grown out of this exodus of this lifestyle that I felt was um, damaging for me. And the point that I'm trying to get at is that was 6 7 years ago when I started this journey, and committing that um, it's not like one thing is going to help me with this. It was a complete lifestyle change and a complete change of my viewpoints and how I approach life. It's about challenging my assumptions to continually create new beliefs, elevated um, beliefs that could evolve past what I had known to that point. And I feel like that's the moment we're at as a society, is to challenge all these assumptions that have plagued us since in the world. Before America was even born, this has been an issue that has been with us, and knowing how long it has been with us, we need to realize that moving forward, it's not going to be a single thing. It's going to be creating habits that generate the right outcomes that we want, that the next month, next year, next decade, we can start to see opportunities arising. That's the whole point of what I'm trying to get at, is that right now is a time. Look, I've spent the last almost 10 years at a Fortune 100 company as a research engineer, and one of the things you realize is that when you come into any situation, uh, there's a reaction that you want to start solving the problem, but the first thing you have to do is fight that urge, and it's about identifying and gathering information from all these different sides so you understand. Anytime we make a knee-jerk reaction, um, it doesn't generate the right type of internal change needed to not come back to this. So for us to right the wrong with the outcome in mind, we need to create habits that then generate systems that can then get us to the overall outcome that we want. So, and I think it's very important as an artist, as a creator, that I'm taking the time to listen, recognize that I have wrongs in me that need to change. I am acknowledging that. I'm not defending that I'm right. I'm simply being open to challenging my previous assumptions. And I think that is the core part of what we need as a society, and from both sides. And this is what I want to say is, I've had pushback from people, arguing, saying that, hey, all lives matter, and the riots aren't helping, they're hurting, and I'm simply like, my initial reaction was frustration for what I felt were ignorant viewpoints, and I had to take a breath and listen to what they had to say, because each perspective, inside of it lies the keys we need as a collective to move forward. We need each of the pieces to figure out how we can heal from this systemic racism that has been in America. But again, we have to, for me, knowing that my desire is the overall outcome of moving to a post-racism, post-racial society, that I think is what everyone wants, is to not be judged on the color of your skin or where you were born or how you grew up, but to be based on the merits of your actions. And for that outcome to happen, I had to realize that I needed to challenge myself not to ignore what people were saying because it was counter to what I believed. I have to listen and understand and realize that, are there parts that we both need to re-guide that passion and that desire for justice. I think both sides want justice, and we can't, I can't not listen to them. I'm speaking for myself. I'm recognizing that I need to hear both sides, and then together we figure out how to create habits and systems that reinforce the good that we want to have happen, and not, and I'll just leave it at that. Like, that to me is what we're trying to do. Challenge my assumptions continually to evolve and create new beliefs. The goal is never to go back. There's always this nostalgia of it was better when, and my belief is that's never true, and that your best work is ahead of you. The best society that we want to build is in exposing these. And one of the skills that I think we really need to gravitate around is open dialogue, and being able to speak what you feel is true, and in a way that's respectful to the other person, so that we can have open communication. I think where these things break down and where we see society as a whole hindering from moving forward from this point is in our inability to hear people that we don't agree with. We need to challenge that in ourselves. And I'm talking to me. This is what I'm doing. I need to challenge that, hear them, and have that open discussion so that we can so that we can actually communicate. I can hear you and your counter arguments, and not judge you for being racist or being, of any viewpoint, but challenging your assumptions, to hopefully we can together create better, more holistic viewpoints. And I just think that right now I feel scared. I think everyone feels scared to say anything, in fears that it'll, be turned and twisted whichever way it wants to be. And we need to get to a place where we can have open, critical conversations that we can together come to a new world, a new solution, new systems that help us move forward. I don't think anyone is in disagreement to that. I don't think anybody's seeing these videos and horrific, by the way, like watching the video of George Floyd and is watching a man's life being taken by a police officer is really hard to see, as very difficult to see. And I think it just hopefully will again help us not go back to sleep. But knowing that this has been going on for, centuries, we need to start putting in healthy systems in place that allow us to get to better conversations, open dialogue on both sides. And I don't know, maybe all this I don't know, maybe this rant isn't right. I'm sure that there's errors in it. My goal in every part of my being is about evolving and challenging assumptions. Intentional living is all about challenging assumptions to create new, evolved, better beliefs, more well-rounded beliefs. And that is what we do as humans, is that there's new information presented. We need to take it in, assess it, challenge the dogma, the understanding that we had, and use reason and conversation to evolve to a better state. All I know is right now I know there's things that I want to change, just like, leaving religion and realizing mental states that I want to change and dedicating my life to this concept of learning to live life intentionally and open other people to having a stance and understanding what is inside of you. That is my journey. I think it aligns perfectly with Black Lives Matter and waking up to the cruelties and to the unjust systems that we have, and knowing that our goal in moving forward is to challenge these previous assumptions to create better beliefs. And I'm trying to hear other people's stories as much as I can and as frequent as I can, and use that as my guide to connecting. I truly believe that to hurt you is to hurt me, and when someone else is hurting, it hurts and affects me. And the concept that I've really been resonating around is, unique but united. I think we're all one people, unique but united. And there will definitely be more to come. But I just needed to kind of get that out. All right. We'll see you in the next video.